Welcome everyone. Now we have with us Mr. Rohinton Sidhwa. Now we will have discussion on the upcoming Union Budget 2017. So let's discuss about the MAT. With the weeding out of exemptions, do you think that MAT is unnecessary?
So that's a good question because MAT came into being mainly because companies could distribute dividends from their post tax profits, but in fact were not paying any tax on their profits. And the main reason was tax deductions were available to them. And with these tax deductions gradually phasing out, the case for MAT does certainly become a lot more weaker. But remember, these deductions are not suddenly phasing out, they're phasing out over a period of time. So maybe there is an opportunity to lower the rate and gradually phase it out. So I'm guessing the government is not just going to take it out completely, they'll probably phase it out over a period of time. Also, one important thing is to think about what happens about the credits that many companies are carrying on their balance sheet. What's going to happen and how will those be adjusted? Will there be a period in which they can completely adjust those credits? Will they be allowed unlimited carry forward? Or some people have actually suggested, can it be used as a advance tax in order to actually substitute for cash tax payments? So there's interesting thing developing around that.
So what's your take on BPS? So do you think that Union Budget will announce any amendments relating to BPS?
So the amendments related to BPS are certain; they have to happen. So India was part of the G20, which signed up on the all the BEPS changes, and all the action items have two outcomes. Either there is an outcome which involves a change in our treaty, that means it will get covered in the multilateral protocol, or alternatively, it will be a change in domestic law. So there are specific amendments which require a change in the domestic law, and this is the budget where the government probably has to bring in these amendments. So just to give you an example, the action item which pertains to interest deductions and the ability for companies to get what is referred to as double dips. So a deduction in one country and another deduction at the same time in another country, or a deduction in one country and no pickup of income in another country. Those situations are specifically to be addressed by domestic law changes, and that's where potentially this budget may look at changes to be made around those.
So what's your opinion on the issue of depreciation on goodwill?
So I think the entire issue has been finalized by Smith Securities. It's a Supreme Court decision. One of our famous legal luminaries, Justice Kapadia's decision. But at the same time, the income tax department has simply not come to terms with that decision. So we still have tribunal decisions which are going on a different, like the recent one in the case of the Bangalore tribunal, where they denounced the fact that such a claim for depreciation was even possible under the existing law. So there is some clarity which taxpayers are seeking to obtain, because usually these large depreciation claims come about out of large M&A transactions, and these are factored in when the deal is actually done. So it's going to be very onerous on taxpayers if they find out 4 years after the deal is done that depreciation is not allowed. So just getting some clarity on this particular topic, to my mind, is very critical.
Finally, what's your take on the extension of concessional tax rate for interest payments made to non-resident?
So 194 LD is a beneficial section which was opened up by the tax department for a very low withholding tax at 5% on interest payments that were made to FPIs. Now, over a period of time, that particular section has always been extended. So now the current extension runs out in March of 2017. The advantage of 194 LD is that it allows Indian companies to access cheaper foreign loans. So the capital in the country is available even after demonetization at a far higher rate of interest than what's available in international markets. By keeping this particular section alive, it gives a window to Indian companies to actually access cheaper capital from overseas markets. So I think it's fairly critical that this 5% be maintained going forward. Also, another interesting development is the Mauritius Treaty has for the first time brought down the rate of withholding to 7.5%. Again, a good development. So potentially there are going to be structures that are done in terms of long-term financing which take advantage of lower rates of interest available in international capital markets.
Thank you so much for participating in this budget talk.
Thank you very much.